All right, no questions. Good. See you all next week.
Yeah.
We give it 15 seconds, and if it's silent, we let it go.
You look at what you guys were able to do on third down against Wyoming, and I know that was, at times this season you hadn't been the most efficient team on third down, but only had 19 opportunities, only a couple third and shorts, and your thoughts on third down.
Well, it was a point of emphasis. I think we were 12 for 19. Obviously, 19 is a lot of third downs, but it's kind of indicative of the style of game we played. We were really emphasizing running the football and wanted to establish a run game. And anytime you do that and don't take as many shots vertically down the field, you're going to be in those third downs that you have to convert. And it was good for our guys to execute at a high level. We were 5 for 5 on 3rd and 1 to 2, and so that was really good to see. I thought our offensive line blocked well. Our quarterback had several good conversions, and wide receivers made great plays. Thomas Spurbeck's one-handed catch was as amazing a catch as I've seen in a long time. So very proud of those guys. Those guys put in the work. Those guys took it to heart, and those players, everybody on offense, those guys really responded. I'm proud of those guys for that.
I want to talk about the O-line in the previous couple games, and obviously they played pretty well, no sacks, I don't think, and the tackles for loss down, but then you lose Reese late in the game, and we're not sure about Mario. I mean, how do you look at the line and what that group may look like this week and the challenge there, and how you saw those guys play last week?
Well, first off, I thought those guys played well, and they responded to a challenge. They hunkered down. They knew what was being said and critiqued, and those guys went to work. They didn't complain about it. They just went to work, and everybody went to work about, we're not going to give up any sacks, and we didn't. And I'm proud of the offensive line, proud of the tailbacks on that catch that Thomas had. Jeremy McNichols had a really good blitz pickup. Quarterback had a really good throwaway on one that prevented a sack, and so it was everybody involved. Pleased with their performance, knocking the defense off the ball and allowing us to run the ball. Kept us ahead of the chains. Those guys did well. As far as the future goes, I remember sitting in this same seat in August and saying it never goes exactly how you plan for it to go, and it doesn't. And this season has not gone that way as far as from an injury standpoint, from an offensive side of the ball. But that's why you develop, that's why you coach, and that's why you move forward. And somebody else is going to get an opportunity. Obviously, we're going to miss Reese tremendously. Outstanding football player, a great leader for us. Somebody that really just anchored that left side. You never really worried about his matchup. And wish him the best as he, in a speedy recovery. But, the thing about football is it's like life. It goes on. We're going to kick off at 12:30 on Saturday, and so we're going to have somebody step up and perform at a high level.
You mentioned Thomas's catch, and usually you see guys who make those kind of catches. It's the big guys with the big hands, and he's not that. He keeps doing this. How does he keep making these crazy, spectacular, wild catches?
I wish I knew. As Lord's blessed him with a lot of talent, and Lord's blessed him with tremendous work ethic. You combine those two things, and you produce a special football player. And so we're very excited about him and what he's doing, and it's a tribute to him. I mean, it really is. He's worked hard and put himself in a position to make those great plays.
I know you made sure the replay booth didn't get a chance, but when you guys watched it on film, what did you see on that catch?
He caught it. Yeah, I should have let the replay booth look at it so they got a good look at it. But no, he caught it pretty easily. So, we went fast to try to make that guy make a decision pretty quick. He made the right one.
Is there an effort, obviously an effort that you communicate to get up and go after a play like that?
We have mechanisms in our offense to go as fast as we want to go.
Very balanced, 207, I think, and 211. Is that what you aim for? You talk about trying to run the ball, but in the end, it's close running and passing.
Yeah, it was a very balanced performance offensively. I thought it was as efficient a performance as we've had all season. Let one scoring opportunity get away from us with a turnover. That was really the only negative of the night. We scored on our first 4 possessions of the game, scored on the first possession of the second half. As far as balance, yeah, it was great, to have the balanced run pass. We took our shots and our opportunities when we needed to, I felt like, but we wanted to consistently run the football, and we were able to do that. You know, a lot of it also is dictated by what the defense is trying to do. I felt like they were trying to play a lot of too high and try to keep the ball in front of them, maybe to match their offensive style, you know, try to keep themselves in the game late. And we were able to jump out in that first quarter because of Tyler Horn, our defense, and I don't, you know, never really was in doubt after that.
With Jeremy McNichols, 40 touches in a ball game, and more so than, you know, what he did that night. Looking forward, just a guy that can do that if you need it. How do you evaluate that, I guess, moving forward?
It was good to see, obviously, and some of the touches he got weren't necessarily designed to go to him, but again, they were playing a scheme where they backed out and the quarterback hit the check down, much like Ryan did against the Washington game. You know, we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and however the offensive game plan is designed that we feel like gives us the best opportunity to win. And Jeremy McNichols is a special player, and he's going to have to get touches in the ball game for us to continue to be, you know, explosive on offense.
Harsin kind of bristled when I asked him if there was a concerted effort to make the second half game plan a little conservative. Do you get offended when you hear criticism like that? Do you take it personally? And was it more concerted effort to make it conservative, or was that just what Wyoming was giving you?
I don't think it was conservative. I don't get offended. If we win the football game, I either get mad or upset if we win or lose. You know, everybody has their opinions, and I can't control those. And to me, if you get caught up in what people say about you when it's good, or when you get caught up in what people say about you when it's bad, it's a weakness either way. And, you know, what people think about me and our performance really doesn't matter. What matters is what ultimately the boss thinks about the performance I do, and ultimately our team, if they believe in the job that we're doing. As far as the second half, we scored on the first possession of the second half. The second half, we drove down and fumbled on the 1-yard line. And the third possession, we kicked a field goal. Fourth possession, we started off with a pass. You know, so I don't necessarily know that that's conservative. We did run the football, and we're going to run the football in the second half. But I didn't, you know, I don't know if it was conservative or not.
Coach Harsin was saying that since you guys are going to be in Vegas Friday, some of the coaches are going to be able to get out and see some games in Vegas on Friday. Wondering if you're one of those guys that's planning that. And when you guys get a commit from a player in recruiting, is it harder to, with the way it works with commits and stuff, is it harder to get to recruit a guy more once he commits just to keep him? I mean, just seems like with decommits and things like that going on these days.
I would just say recruiting is a year-round process, and just because somebody says they're committed, you still got to recruit because the other people are recruiting them too. So you never rest. You never think this one's in the bag or anything like that. As far as Friday night and the coaches going out and all that, that I'm worried about playing UNLV.
All of a sudden, Brett's got half a season of college football under him really quickly here.
Month of September.
How have you seen him progress through that time, and what kind of lessons, you know, can he take forward now over the last month of the season here?
Well, the biggest lesson is how he responded to the Utah State game. I mean, I was very impressed with his poise and, you know, him coming back and you know, playing well, you know, despite the criticisms and the failures of the game before. And, you know, we talk about having grit, you know, moving forward in spite of challenges and obstacles and setbacks, and I felt like he did that. And, you know, he had came out of the gate firing, and naturally, you know, hit a little lull, and so it was good to see him respond. But in this business or in this game, you're only judged by your next performance, and so, you know, he knows that he's got to go back to work today and recreate the process that allowed him to have success versus Wyoming. And, you know, at 12:30 on Saturday, we'll be judged again on how we did.
What have you seen so far out of UNLV?
Very big up front. Their defensive line, they've got 3 really big guys, very multiple, move around, try to disguise looks. Good in the back end. They got a Will linebacker that I feel like is very talented, is probably as good as anybody we've played against, minus the Fackrell kid. Just good football team. They've only given up 38 points think 38 to Michigan, or no, 38 to UCLA, and maybe 39 to Northern Illinois, and everything else has been low-scoring game. They've been in a lot of games late. You know, they beat Nevada, but it was a tight game. San Jose State was overtime. Fresno scored with, you know, in the fourth quarter to take the lead. So they're playing very tough football, and they're keeping the score down, which keeps them in the game. I believe they're running the ball at a high clips, you know, and you look at that to try to see, okay, are they going to try to keep the ball away from you and all that. So it's going to be a real challenge. You know, have no idea what the atmosphere will be like at 12:30 on a Saturday in Las Vegas. I've never been to that stadium before, but excited to get the chance to play.
With Brett, what type of criticism did he get that last week? And you know, as opposed to a guy that might be a 22, 23-year-old, 50-year senior at that position, do you have to worry a little bit more when, you know, he's a 19-year-old true freshman, I guess, of how he might kind of handle that?
No, I just think that when you're a freshman, maybe you don't expect it. You know, the longer you're in this atmosphere, the more you know what comes with the territory. You know, and so a lot of praise has been heaped on him, you know, coming through, and then all of a sudden, when you have setbacks, naturally there's, you know, things that are said and critiques and stuff. So, but that's part of how you play, and when you perform on Saturdays, you put yourself out there to be critiqued, and that's the good and the bad. That's the bonus of playing in front of a large crowd on TV, and that's the negative. If you don't play well, you know, then everybody notices. And because of social media these days, you have more critics and fans than ever before. You know, when you go out on Thanksgiving Day and play flag football with your family and you drop a ball, there's not much said other than, you know, your family saying it. You do that on national television, Twitter talks about it.
With I know that you guys have some injuries up front on the offensive line right now, but a guy like Marcus Henry has put together a pretty impressive streak in terms of